Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Jerrika and Alex. We are the coaches of Breaking 90 Fitness. Thanks for listening. Jer, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. What's new in your neck of the woods?
In my neck of the woods, I'm supposed to tackle a kayak overnight trip in Killarney, which I've never done. It's called Philip Edward Island, and you have to like go out to the island, you can tour around it and sleep. It's all Crown land. So that's supposed to be tomorrow.
So hold on, you're kayaking out and bringing all your tents and food and everything?
Yeah, everything's like really small, right? So you buy like you can rent the really small packed things.
Yeah.
It's only one night really, so just bring some chicken wraps and we get to go a couple bars and
cool.
Yeah, a group of us. So then I was reading today on a forum, and they say anything over what I think it's like 30-kilometer winds, like do not go because our safety boat like won't be able to go out there and get you if Lake Huron goes a little crazy. And it's supposed to be 50 tomorrow, so we'll see. We'll see if I'm on the next podcast, guys. You'll know I made it out alive.
If not, send help.
Send help, please.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So like, I kayaked one day for like an hour and my shoulders were like ready to explode. So have you been practicing a little bit?
Yeah, I can do quite a few hours now, so
cool.
It'll be all right.
And
there's a tandem kayaks, so there's two people for one kayak.
Nice. It's one of those things like when you don't do it regularly, you're just like, wow, these muscles are really burning.
Yeah, the shoulder blades feel it the next day, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited to hear on the next episode how that went for you.
All right, I'll fill you in if it happens.
Oh yeah, hopefully. Yeah. What do you got for a topic for us today?
I know you've been talking about this a lot lately with our clients with Breaking 90, but I think everyone should hear it. I want to talk about time management and scheduling.
Cool.
I think that's especially with school getting back up and running and everyone's getting back to their routines. I think we both have and I think we do it a little differently, some tips with scheduling and time management.
Yeah, so a lot of our clients specifically, like especially this time of year, kids are getting back to school, you're trying to like pack lunches and figure everything out. They're like, I'm having such a hard time fitting in my workouts. I'm having such a hard time fitting in our healthy meals. Like in the summer, it was a little bit easier. We had more time to prep these things. So I think that's what started that whole topic for me. So I think it's a really good one. I think a lot of listeners could benefit from this.
Perfect. Do you use a paper agenda or do you use it on your phone?
I love the phone. I was paper for a long time.
Me too.
And then I started getting Apple everything, like the Apple computer, the Apple headphones, the Apple phone, and the Apple Watch, and it all just integrates so smoothly. So like I couldn't turn away from it. Like even syncing my wife and I, our schedule together. We're able to, I can add something to the calendar, it blocks it off on her calendar. Like to be able to do that, that to me, that's amazing.
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
It's funny because I use all Apple everything, but I love the Google platform. So I use Google Calendar, Google everything. It's so funny.
I also use Google everything, and I've heard that the Google Calendar is really great. It's one of those things where I started on Apple Calendar or iCal or whatever it's called, and I just haven't changed, but I probably would like Google better, but I just never changed.
It's so great. Yeah, I've been a paper agenda person through and through my whole life until I started with the new business. And so then all my clients are online. So I just started blocking things off on the same calendar, and it's been working really, really well.
Well, now that you say that, that's another huge reason I went online, is because when people book calls with me, when potential or prospective clients or current clients, and anytime a client books a call, it goes right into my calendar and blocks that chunk of calendar off. Like it's just so simple.
Too easy. Yeah,
so simple.
It's time saving, and I think that's a most important thing these days, is find what is going to save you the most amount of time.
So how do you start your calendar schedule then? Where do you go at first?
Never used to do this until you and I started talking, but I now start with sleep. And since the last year, I've really been interested in sleep and reading books and stuff. So that's been a really big priority for me. So that is the first thing I now put into I guess I put it into my phone. Like I always have the nighttime, like, okay, reminder, get off your phone. And then I schedule in how many hours I want.
Same, yeah. That was something I learned from a mentor. He called it the reverse alarm. So you set that, basically what you do is you figure out the time you have to wake up at. You cycle back the amount of sleep you want, which should be at least 7 hours. So for me, I'm doing 7 hours, the bare ass minimum. And at that 7 hour mark, that's when you're like lights out of sleep. So then you go back from that another hour and you set what he called the reverse alarm. So the reverse alarm is like your notice. You get it on your phone. It's like, oh, reverse alarm. That's time to start winding down, get ready for bed, shut off technology, brush your teeth, read a book, like that. You got 1 hour of wind down, go. And I love it. And it's a huge part of my day.
You do the hour before bed? You're up to an hour?
Yeah, an hour is my signal. And that's like, okay, start thinking about this. It's not like I won't hop into bed and start reading an hour ahead, but it's like, okay, I got to put the dishes away and like empty the dishwasher. Like it's like an hour. I have an hour to get there.
I like it. What do you do next after sleep?
After sleep, I look at all of the things that actually affect sleep. So I look at what time I'm going to eat dinner.
Yep.
What time I am going to stop working at, what time I'm going to get off technology at, what time I'm going to stop drinking caffeine at. Those are the 4 big ones that I look at. And I actually I cycle back from that reverse alarm, put reminders in my phone that's like, okay, stop drinking caffeine.
I love that we need a reminder.
I'm drinking a coffee right now.
Yeah, me too.
So I'll look at those, like I'll be looking through my schedule, seeing whose calls I have that day, what we're doing, podcasting, and it'll be like, oh, no more caffeine. And then it'll be like, oh, you have to eat dinner by this time. And that's kind of like, they're loose guidelines for sure. Sometimes I go over, absolutely. But these are like the loose guidelines of my day-to-day structure.
Yep. So basically, like, and then you'll get into your non-negotiables, which is what I will look into. Like, okay, my work schedule for me is different every day. For some people, they're like, okay, 9 to 5, they plug it in their calendar. I'm at work. It's nice. They know they're gone. For me, it's, I'm 10 to 3 this day, 3 to 7 this day, or whatever it may be. So I plug that in for the whole week. I love looking at my whole week in a glance.
Same.
I just like seeing and then from there you start plugging in, okay, work's going, might be my workouts or get my walks in. So that's a non-negotiable for me. So I put those in. Everyone has maybe family time, maybe, who knows, maybe meal prepping time, whatever is your non-negotiable.
So there's a couple of things you mentioned there. I'm going to just write them so I don't forget. So the non-negotiables, first I'll touch on my non-negotiables, because I think everybody needs to sit down and make a list of non-negotiables.
Actually write them out.
Yeah. So non-negotiables for me, I've got family time. I've got work. Obviously, we have work. We have to do it. We got to get paid. Then there's time outdoors, and that can be paired with exercise. Doesn't need to be, but I need time outdoors. Exercise, nutrition, hydration, and that's. I probably have a couple more on my list if I circle back to it, but those are the big ones that stick out to me right away. So things like family time, exercise, outdoor time, boom, let's go for a walk. We're knocking off 3 of those non-negotiables all at the same time. But the other thing you mentioned that I love is planning your schedule a week in advance, because it's just like a budget. We have to do this with our finances. We have to do this with our nutrition. You need to look at your week and budget in everything. If you play that day by day game, it is always going to catch up to you. You're going to start missing workouts. You're going to start missing your nutrition where it needs to be. So you need to look at that week and say, where are the meetings? What's going on with my work schedule? Okay, I know I want to get in at least 3 workouts this week. Where can I fit those 3 workouts in? Right? Agreed.
That's a big one. And then if you start skipping those, it starts affecting, like, for example, family time for you or outside time for me. If that starts getting pushed aside, right, then it's affecting who I am as a person and what I'm bringing to my work, to my other non-negotiables. So we can't let those kind of slip out the window.
I mean, the truth is, our whole health affects our whole health. So if you put all of your focus into your emotional health or your physical health, it's not really going to go stronger until you make sure that everything connected, all your whole health is doing well. So those things, those non-negotiables, those are the things that fill our cup, that leave us feeling energetic, that we turn into a better person. Like you said, you become a better partner, a better employee, a better coach, a better friend, a better parent. When we neglect to do the things that fill our cup, we turn into a shittier version of ourselves. So it's not even a question of being selfish or making those sacrifices. You need to do that. Your friends, your family deserve the best version of you, and if you don't fill your cup, then you can't give them that. So fitting in those non-negotiables, they have to be just that. They have to be non-negotiables.
I like that. Yep, absolutely. And then well, personally, once I put in my non-negotiables, then it started, okay, let's look at the tasks, the weekly
Yeah.
tasks that I'd like to get done or that I
Yeah.
need to get done. And then I know you do it a little bit differently than I do. I think I can let you talk about how you do it, but I do important, non-important, but I do time. So I actually make a list of what's super important to get done, what's maybe not as important. And then I'll look at the list and I'll actually put how long they'll take. So I devote numbers. I'll say, okay, this is a 10-minute task. This is maybe a half an hour task. And then from there, I'll plug in my tasks that fit. And I always allow myself a fun, easy one before I get to the actual important ones. I'll take one off the non-important list that I'm actually excited about that takes 5 minutes, and I'll do it first because I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to
It feels good,
this.
right?
Yeah. But I love the organizing them by time slots because then I can drop those into my calendar pretty easily.
So I actually gave a challenge to our coaching clients for 3 days, write out every 15 minutes to half hour, write out what you're doing on a piece of paper. So you write it like from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you're like 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, 10. And you write that down a chart. If 15 minutes is overwhelming, do it every half hour. And you just write it out for 3 days. What were you doing what was the main thing you did during that 15 or 30-minute block? And then at the end of the 3 days, you go back and review it. You look for patterns, you look for areas where you wasted a ton of time. And it's a huge eye opener, because then what you do is what you heard Jerrika mentioning. I like to divide it into those 4 categories. So there's important, not important, urgent, not urgent. Okay. So you draw this on an axis so that each corner will have important and urgent. Another corner is going to have important, not urgent. Another corner is going to have not important, but urgent. And the final corner is going to have not important, not urgent. And you start placing all of these tasks into those 4 quadrants. So then the way that I break up my schedule is similar to you. Rather than it being a specific task, I'll say this time I'm allowing important, urgent tasks to get completed. And I will break up my day like that. Because what a lot of people have found, a lot of people who have spent a lot of time researching scheduling and efficiency, is if you just have a to-do list and an infinite amount of time, the jobs we give will fill the time we allow for it, right? So breaking it up this way, knowing at say 10:30 I'm done with this task, I become efficient because I've got 10 minutes to complete what the task is that we're on, and then I'm moving on to another category, and that's not negotiable. So you start to, it's like the kid cramming for the test the night before a test. They're going to study really friggin' hard the night before that test. It's the exact same thing. When you have 10 minutes left to complete that task, you start to become more and more efficient. So you do that with your whole day, even penciling in something like a 10-minute walk with your dog that isn't negotiable. At 10:30 a.m. I leave the house. Well, if you stick to that, if you stay true to that, if you don't push it by 5 minutes, you're going to notice your efficiency go up.
Yep. I love that. I'm going to try and do that one. I like the 3 days, the 3-day writing out. I think people would be so surprised with how many hours that accumulates of things that they literally just probably wasted, even myself included, I'm sure.
Oh, I've done that activity
Yeah,
several times for
I'm gonna
myself,
do it.
and it's those not important, not urgent tasks. You're like, why is
I love
this filling so much of my day? And it's often only 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like it's often
it.
only
It adds
filling
up.
little chunks here and there. But at the end of the day, it's like that was 4 hours. Like you're telling me you don't have time for 20 minutes of purposeful movement?
Yeah, I love how the phones, or I know my iPhone tells me now at the end of the week, like how much time you spend doing this or on this app, or
Yeah.
if your time on your phones went up or went down, it's like, oh, it's an eye opener.
Oh,
That's for
oh
sure.
yeah. Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
love
I know a lot of people that turn that feature off.
it. I think it's great.
Yeah,
It's
I do too.
definitely positively affected me.
Anybody that tells me they don't have time for a 20-minute workout, you hand me that phone and let me see that schedule of how much
Yeah,
time you spend on your phone. I guarantee you got time for a 20-minute workout.
oh, it's absolutely true.
Is that are those the big ones then that you wanted to cover with the schedule?
Yeah. I just really wanted to touch on both of our kind of how we manage our schedules, and if anyone has anything that they'd ever like to add, reach out to us. And
Hmm.
I
Actually, I
think
made a
it's
little chart for those 4 quadrants too. So if anybody wants that, send me a message. I can send that to you also.
yeah.
It's not like it's rocket science or anything, but it just lays it out a little simple for you. If anybody wants a copy of that, shoot me a message.
The biggest thing when it comes to scheduling is actually writing it out, like you said, or in some type of, don't just keep it in your head, because that's when things get bumped and switched and moved. You
Totally.
have to actually see it visually. We're all
Yeah, so
somewhat
I
visual.
I do it every Sunday morning. I call it's like my scheduling time. I do it right first thing in the morning, Sunday morning. I look at my whole week, the appointments that can't be moved, and I pencil in all those non-negotiables. Boom, my calendar's laid out. This is the gap where I can do whatever I want. Like it's just it makes your life so much easier.
Yep. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, I got a kitchen tip for them today. It's a really, really simple one. My tip is watermelon. It's like
I love it.
it's like the super fruit. You can eat so much watermelon. It's so filling temporarily. It's almost all water, as it says in the name, and it's delicious. So you can eat literally watermelon until you're stuffed for virtually no calories. I think it's a really great filler when you're hungry, especially in the summer. They're not going to be as great coming into the winter, but that's my tip for you guys today.
I love freezing watermelon
Oh,
and then
cool.
making like slushies out of it. And you like blend it and it makes like a yummy slushy drink.
No, I never thought of that. Sounds good.
Yep.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you as always for listening. Make sure you share this with your friends. Take a screenshot, share it on Instagram, rate us, review it wherever you're listening, and always reach out to us and let us know what topics you want to hear in the future so that we can keep putting these podcasts out for you guys. Thanks for being here. Have a great day.